I accidentally moaned my ex's name during sex and tried to cover it up by coughing. This was, without a doubt, the stupidest fucking moment of my life. So, I was hooking up with this girl. Let's call her Sasha. Things had been going great. She was hot, the sex was solid, and I was feeling like a king. We weren't in a relationship or anything, but we had been seeing each other long enough for it to be comfortable. Now, here's where my brain betrayed me. Mid-session, I was really getting into it, like full primal mode, completely lost in the moment. She was on top. I was hyped. Everything was going perfectly. And then, when things were peaking, I decided to get vocal. Big. Fucking. Mistake. Because instead of moaning her name, my dumbass, for some godforsaken reason, moaned. Ah, fuck, Anna. Anna. My ex. The second the name left my mouth, my soul evacuated my body. I knew I had fucked up beyond repair. Sasha froze mid-thrust. Just stopped. Completely. And my only reaction? I went, Anna, and fake coughed. Like that was gonna fix anything. Like she was gonna be like, oh, damn, dude must just have a throat tickle. Sasha did not buy it. She slowly leaned back, looked down at me and went, did you just say Anna? And because I am a certified idiot, I doubled down. I committed to the lie. No, I was just choking for a second. You know, like, Isuke, see? Yes, I actually made fake coughing noises to try and prove my point. She stared at me like I was the dumbest motherfucker alive. Then she got off me, grabbed her clothes, and left without a word. Just straight up ghosted my existence in real life. I laid there, fully naked, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I had just speed-ran my way out getting laid. She never texted me again. I do, however, still get random 3 a.m. waves of shame where my brain decides to remind me of this moment. I tried to manscape my balls and burn them so bad I couldn't walk for a week. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. Maybe I was feeling inspired by porn. Maybe I was just sick of my girl complaining about my situation down there. Or maybe I was just an absolute dumbass. But one day, I looked at my junk in the mirror and thought, yeah, this could be smoother. Now, a normal guy would just shave or maybe hit it with a trimmer. But no, I wanted that baby soft, zero stubble, porn star level smoothness. And what's the best way to achieve that? Hair removal cream. Yeah, I went full Veet mode on my balls. I had never used this shit before, but I figured, how hard could it be? I read the instructions, kind of slapped a generous amount directly onto my sack, and waited. At first, everything was fine. Just a slight tingling sensation. That's normal, right? I thought. I was even feeling proud of myself, like I had unlocked the secret to perfect male grooming. And then the burn began. It started subtle. A little heat, a little itch. And then, within seconds, my nuts felt like they had been dipped into Satan's bathwater. I panicked. But instead of wiping it off like a rational human being, my dumbass thought, no, the pain means it's working. Spoiler. The pain did not mean it was working. By the time I finally washed it off, it was too late. My entire sack was red, swollen, and angry. I looked like I had 2 cherry tomatoes glued between my legs. The skin felt like it had been chemically peeled off, and every movement was pure suffering. Walking? Impossible. Sitting? Torture. Putting on underwear? Forget about it. I spent the next 7 days waddling around like I had been hit by a truck directly in the balls. My girl saw what I did and laughed for a solid 10 minutes before realizing I was actually injured. She tried to be sympathetic, but kept making comments like, so, when's a funeral for your sack? I had to smother my junk in aloe vera and ice packs just to function like a human again. And even now, I still get PTSD anytime I walk past a bottle of hair removal cream. Lesson learned. Blades are scary, but chemical warfare is worse. I picked the worst place to experiment with my girlfriend, and we accidentally ended up on a hidden camera. Look, I'm all for spicing things up, but this was not how I imagined things going. So me and my girl have been talking about trying new things. You know, switching up locations, adding a little excitement. We had done the usual stuff. Backseat of the car, late night balcony action, a questionable encounter in a movie theater. But we wanted something different. And then my dumb ass had an idea. What about an Airbnb? In my mind, it was perfect. A cozy little getaway, new scenery, no risk of getting walked in on by roommates. Plus, I found this cheap spot just outside the city. It looked nice in the pictures, clean, decent lighting, good reviews. I booked it without a second thought. We get there, everything seems normal. The place is small, but comfortable enough. No weird smells, no serial killer vibes. Solid choice, right? Wrong. Fast forward a couple of hours. We're in the heat of the moment, going at it in the living room. Because why not? Different place, different vibe. It's all great. Until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. A little black dot on the bookshelf. At first, I thought it was just some random piece of decor, but something about it felt off. I tried to ignore it, but my paranoia started kicking in. So mid-action, I reach over, poke it, and yep, it's a fucking hidden camera. I froze. My girlfriend noticed immediately and was like, "What's wrong?" And all I could say was, "Babe, we're being recorded." She bolted off me so fast you'd think she got electrocuted. I ripped the camera off the shelf and stared at it, my brain malfunctioning at full capacity. Now, here's where the panic set in. Was it live streaming? Was someone watching us in real time? Did this psycho have a whole collection of people fucking his rental? We threw our clothes on in record time, grabbed our shit, and got the hell out of there. I didn't even lock the door. Just full fight or flight mode. I reported the place to Airbnb immediately, but to this day, I have no idea if that footage ended up somewhere. Somewhere out there, there might be a cursed tape of me and my girl, and I have to live with that knowledge forever. Lesson learned. Always check for hidden cameras before you start fucking a rental.
I forgot to turn off my vibrator during an exam, and the whole room heard it. Alright, let me just say, this was not supposed to happen. So I had this genius idea to wear a vibrator to class. You know, for the thrill. I had seen people talk about it online. Wearing a discreet little toy under your clothes in public. Keeping it on a low setting, just enough to make things interesting without anyone noticing. Now, in theory, this was a solid plan. The problem? I'm an idiot. It was exam day. Big one. The kind where everyone is silent, fully concentrated. And you can hear someone's pencil scratch across the paper from across the room. But I wasn't worried. I had my shit prepared, felt confident, and most importantly, I had completely forgotten that I had my vibrator in. I sat down, pulled out my stuff, and just as the professor said, "You may begin," I accidentally leaned forward right onto the remote in my pocket. Full power. I felt it instantly, like an electric shock straight to my soul. I jumped so hard I nearly knocked my desk over. But that wasn't even the worst part. The room was dead silent. No one talking. No noise. Except for the faint but very fucking noticeable buzzing sound coming from my chair. People started looking around. Someone coughed. I saw my professor squinting like she was trying to figure out where the noise was coming from. Meanwhile, I was sitting there in pure horror, legs clenched, praying to every god in existence that no one would realize it was me. I couldn't even move because if I reached down to turn it off, I'd make it obvious. And then the guy next to me leaned over. He looked me dead in the eyes and whispered, "Yo, do you hear that?" I wanted to die. I panicked, grabbed my bag, mumbled something about needing the bathroom, and practically sprinted out of the room. The second I was alone, I reached down, yanked that traitorous piece of silicone out, and slammed the off button like my life depended on it. I waited 5 minutes, splashed water on my face, and walked back in, trying to act normal. But I could feel people looking at me. They knew. After that, I never wore that thing in public again. I learned my fucking lesson. I got too fucked up before a first date and accidentally fell asleep on his face. So I had this first date lined up with a guy I had been talking to for weeks. You know how it goes. Flirty texts, late-night convos. Just enough teasing to make the anticipation unbearable. I was ready. Outfit planned, legs shaved, mood set. But there was one small problem. I had anxiety like a motherfucker. So, like the genius I am, I decided to pre-game a little to loosen up. Just a tiny edible, maybe a drink. Nothing major. Just enough to take the edge off. Except I miscalculated. That tiny edible was actually a full-ass body-high demon. And by the time I was getting ready, I was floating in another dimension. I tried to sober up with coffee, but my brain was already an expired Windows update. Glitching, lagging, struggling to process basic human functions. But did I cancel the date? No. I convinced myself I was fine and left. By the time I got to his place, I was barely holding it together. He opened the door looking fine as hell, all smiles, clearly excited, and I was just standing there like a Sims character left on pause. He offered me a drink, we started talking, and somehow I actually managed to act normal for a bit. Fast forward. We're on his couch, things are heating up. He's touching my thighs, kissing my neck, and I'm like, fuck it, let's go. We make it to his bed, clothes are coming off, and at some point, I end up on top of him, sitting on his face. And then, I fell asleep. Right there. Mid-action. On his goddamn face. I don't know how long I was out. Could have been 30 seconds. Could have been 10 minutes. All I know is I woke up to confused, muffled noises underneath me and realized I had fully passed out while suffocating this man. I jolted awake, rolled off him, and just lay there mortified. He sat up, gasping like he had just barely escaped drowning, and we just stared at each other in the most awkward silence of my life. And then he goes, "Did you just take a nap on me?" I couldn't even lie. I just stared at the ceiling high as shit and whispered, "Maybe." Somehow, this man did not immediately kick me out. In fact, he actually laughed his ass off, made sure I was okay, and then asked if I wanted snacks. Absolute king. Needless to say, there was no round two. I went home, still high, still embarrassed, and spent the rest of the night reevaluating every decision I had ever made. Public transport will never be the same for me again. It was just a normal-ass day. I got on the bus, exhausted from life, plopped into my seat at the back, put my headphones in and zoned out. That's it. That was the plan. But I had been going through a phase. You know, the one where literally anything turns you on. Hormones jacked up to the ceiling, mind constantly in the gutter, and the smallest thing can flip a switch. And on this particular day, the switch got flipped. I was scrolling my phone, minding my business, when I saw something. Not even full-on explicit, just suggestive enough that my brain short-circuited. And then the thought hit me like a brick to the face. You could just do it right now. A completely normal person would have laughed that off. Maybe even felt a little embarrassed for the intrusive thought. But my dumbass. I sat there and considered it. The bus wasn't crowded. I was sitting in the back. My coat was big. My leggings were stretchy. The more I thought about it, the more it felt doable. And once my brain started convincing me it was actually a solid idea, there was no turning back. I discreetly pulled my coat over my lap, leaned against the window like I was just vibing to music, and yeah, it was fast. Just a quick little moment. No one noticed, no alarms went off, and I sat there afterward thinking, damn, I really just got away with that. And then I looked up. Across from me, a middle-aged woman was staring directly at me. Not blinking. No emotion. Just full-on eye contact, like she had seen the worst thing imaginable. Completely shut down. My body froze. My soul left the bus before I did. I knew there was no explaining my way out of this. She didn't say a word. Didn't make a scene. Nothing. She just looked at me like she was disappointed in my entire existence. And then she shook her head. Slowly, I hit the stop button so fast I might have broken it. Didn't even care where I was. The second those doors opened, I bolted out like my life depended on it. Just walked aimlessly through some random-ass neighborhood because there was no way in hell I was staying on that bus. I had to call my friend to pick me up. When they asked what I was doing in the middle of nowhere, I just said, I made a mistake.
The drunken disaster. How I accidentally kissed my friend's mom. Okay, I have done a lot of dumb stuff while drunk, but this was next level. It all started with a simple house party at my friend Jake's place. Jake's house was a prime party spot because, first of all, his dad was out of the picture and his mom, Laura, was one of those cool moms. You know the type, lets the kids drink at home because dash, at least they're safe. Kinda cool. And let me tell you, she was hot. Like, MILF category hot. We all knew it. We all secretly talked about it. But obviously, no one ever dared to cross that line. Or at least, no one was supposed to. So, the party was going strong. Beers, shots, loud music. People getting progressively more and more wasted. At some point, I must have lost count of how many shots I took, because I went from fun drunk to blackout time travel drunk in about an hour. 1 minute. I was taking a shot of tequila with some random dude. The next minute, I was... Wait, where the hell was I? The kiss of shame. I came to in the kitchen. The lights were dimmed, my head was spinning, and for some reason, I was super emotional. You know that level of drunk where you just want to tell people you love them? That was me. And then she appeared. Laura, Jake's mom, looking elegant as ever in some casual PJs, probably just checking to make sure we weren't burning down her house. And in my drunken stupor, I had the brilliant idea of having a heart-to-heart with her. Laura, I slurred, probably swaying like a damn palm tree in a hurricane. You're just so cool, you know that? She laughed, not in a flirty way, just in a this kid is way too drunk way. All right, buddy, maybe it's time to get some water, she said, reaching for a glass. And here's where everything went straight to hell. For some ungodly reason, my drunk brain interpreted her reaching for a glass as her leaning in for a hug. And because I was a loving, affectionate drunk, I decided to go in for a hug too. But my depth perception was completely shot. Instead of a friendly, innocent hug, I missed my target entirely and planted a full-on kiss right on her lips. A real kiss, not just a peck. No. My stupid drunk self lingered for at least half a second longer than what could be brushed off as an accident, and she froze. I froze. My brain, which was already struggling to process basic motor functions, suddenly rebooted like a crashed computer. Oh my God, she whispered, stepping back. And that's when the worst thing possible happened. Jake walked in. The moment of pure terror. There I was, drunk out of my mind. Jake's hot mom standing in front of me, looking shook as hell. Jake standing in the doorway, staring at me like he just caught me eating a live rat. His face went through at least 7 different emotions in 5 seconds. Confusion, horror, rage, confusion again, disappointment, and then pure murderous intent. Bro, he finally said, did you just... No. I interrupted way too loudly. No, I did not. That did not happen. Laura, bless her soul, jumped into damage control mode immediately. It was an accident, she said quickly. He's wasted. He thought I was going in for a hug. I nodded aggressively. Yes, hug, not kiss. Hug. Jake just stood there, still processing the absolute violation of the bro code he just witnessed. And then he lost his SH*T. Dude, what the F***K? That's my MOM. No SH*T, I know that. Then why did you kiss her? I didn't mean to. I'm drunk and my body didn't listen to my brain. Bro, you need to leave. Right now. And just like that, I got kicked out of the party before I even fully understood what had happened. The aftermath pure shame. The next morning was hell on earth. I woke up with the worst hangover of my life and a vague, blurry memory of something horribly wrong happening. And then, as I slowly pieced the events together, I nearly screamed into my pillow. I kissed Jake's mom. I kissed my best friend's mom. I had 2 missed calls from Jake and a single text message. Bro, with the actual FK. Safe to say, I avoided Jake for weeks. I couldn't even look him in the eye. Hell, I couldn't even go near his house. Every time I thought about it, I felt the urge to crawl into a hole and die. Eventually, Jake and I kind of made peace. After a long, awkward conversation where I apologized profusely and promised to never even look at his mom again, we moved on. But he never lets me live it down. To this day, he still randomly texts me, "Hey bro, thinking about kissing my mom again? I will never recover from this."